Good morning, Sonder family. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. Welcome to your Monday morning setup. It's really good to see y'all. We've got birthday people in the house. Sanju's back from a hiatus as she was caring for herself. It's really good to see you guys. I missed y'all last Monday. We were out of town, so we're back in our regular routine with Team Jennifer on the call. So my name is Jennifer Ogilvy. I'm coming to you from the Dallas, Texas area, and I'm pretending it's fall. I actually put a little jacket on this morning. I don't really need it, but I'm pretending. And then my co-facilitator, we call that role in the chat the behind the scenes gal. That's our stage manager, and today it's Jennifer Krippner. So you've got team Jennifer, and we're really, really glad that you've carved out this time to set your week up for success, for having being the best version that you can be for this week. And I'm seeing lots of our familiar names in the chat, lots of returning folks. If you're here for the first time, be brave and drop a hello or a me or it's my first time in the chat so we can give you a big welcome. We love the Silk and Sonder community. These are our accountability buddies that, we just get so much more when we are together and we can sort of set up together. Yeah, I bet it is cold in Cleveland, Ohio. Um, so Jennifer was at a wedding this weekend and she said, she was still in the summer fancy dress mode. And she said she had two wraps on and it still didn't cut it. So y'all are trying the cold folks are trying to hold on to summer and the hot folks are trying to welcome fall. We're just never happy, right? I love this graphic. What I want for September: simplicity or smile, self-love, sympathy, serenity, start fresh, whatever you need. You're here, you can take that. Be sure that you have set your chat to everyone. It is how we will communicate with one another. The mics are off, the cameras are off. You can adjust your volume as needed, whether you want to just watch what you see on the screen. You can mute me, you can mute the music. This is all about taking what you need. And then, of course, we want to invite you to share your setup or a part of your setup in Sonder Club or on Instagram or in TikTok. Do the hashtag or at Silk and Sonder, and you'll never know how you may see your stuff get used by headquarters. So that's kind of fun. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, and you don't have to pick one. You're right, Joanna. Simplicity and smile. September. I love that. When we are together, we do always share our community guidelines, and so this is all about creating safe spaces with one another, being kind and courteous, and we don't do promotions or spam. You're welcome to ask questions of each other, but we do want to say, let's limit like product stuff, that kind of thing. A great place to go is actually Sonder Club if you're looking for that kind of stuff. Um, and then any customer care inquiries that you might have, we recommend that you just email hello at silkandsonder.com. And then a reminder that this time together is to elevate your emotional health through the power of community, but you are responsible for your own emotions and well-beings and decisions. And the reason we say that is that we want to always remind you to give yourself permission to sit with something. Our mind map this month is we've got some very deep things, so it might be that you take a screenshot and let these thoughts kind of muddle around in your brain throughout the week. They're not going to be quick one and done answers, so just that reminder to y'all. And then I want to make sure that I talk about the DISC Personality Type 101 class exclusive that's going to be offered this month. expert-led event, and I will tell you that, when I was I'm retired, but when I was working full-time, I we had someone come in and lead our staff through the DISC personality types, and it was amazing. It was amazing. So I highly recommend this. It's not only about noticing the things about you, but then you notice how to work with others as maybe you figure out their type. And Jennifer's going to drop the link in the chat so that you can go directly and do it. And there's also a quiz associated. There's no fee to take the quiz. That's that Truity personality test that you can take. So there's no fee for that. But it's again, it's sometimes it's important to thy own self be true, to know thy own self, but it really is nice when you know how to work with others, knowing what you know about yourself and then taking into consideration others. So anyway, I highly recommend the DISC personality stuff. I think it's very, very helpful if that's something that might be you're on the fence about. I highly recommend it. I don't think you'll regret attending that exclusive. So we have this month's theme of bravery. I know that last week before, like right when we were introducing this, somebody, I think I did, I was Malika's a stage manager for the journaling prompt earlier in the week or last week, midweek. And somebody said, you think you're going to get a theme and it's going to be easy. And then you start working on it. It's like, whoa, I'm learning so much about myself already. So I think we're going to be seeing that with being brave, right? Just embracing bravery in our life and looking at what that looks like. And it doesn't have to be like this big superhero stance, right? We're finding these small moments of bravery as we move forward in spite of the fear. So here is a graphic from our Instagram. And I love this, the September bravery checklist. And they're just beautiful small ways of embracing being brave, giving someone a compliment, a random act of kindness, doing something you've been putting off, maybe sitting down and writing a handwritten thank you note to someone, celebrating a small win, maybe trying a little something outside of what you're comfortable with. So I encourage you to follow Silk and Sonder in the socials because you'll get really good info like that. But you might want to screenshot this real quickly or take a photo. And perhaps this becomes something that you work into your setup this week as we move forward. You're going to incorporate some of these bravery things. This would be a great thing to put in that mind body health space. Or maybe you do that in your shopping list. Yeah, it's kind of important to be a little uncomfortable sometimes and put yourself out there. So we're gonna, our agenda is to say we're gonna work on our mind map, then we're gonna do our setup or our rosebud thorn reflections, and then we'll do our setup for the week. So if you are here for the first time, we do what's called a mind map. It's just a bonus prompt that you get for coming to these weekly setups, and it's a deeper dig into the theme. And so we're going to do this for 4 weeks. This could, Jillian, let me go back really quickly then. Grab that bravery checklist. There you go. Grab that. But also follow Silk and Sonder on Instagram. So your mind map can be set up anywhere in your journal. This is a bonus prompt. It's not printed. So you can do it on a notes page. You can do it on your definition page. Maybe you have a second journal that you do some of your bigger things, the things in. So really wherever you want to put your mind map. And, we are looking at that idea of bravery in these small ways in our life, right? It's not always a loud roar. Sometimes it's that quiet whisper, that inner compass. I love that guiding us through the challenges of life. It's the courage to be vulnerable, to embrace the unknown and trust ourselves, trust the strength that's inside. So, we're going to really be digging into those little inner whispers that we hear, that little voice that tugs on us. as we go through this journey. So, last week, week one, was what whispers of bravery echo inside you. And then we have a big, long, like things to consider. I'm going to share that. This week is what lies behind, I love this, what lies behind the locked door of your heart, waiting for you to unlock it. So if you missed last week's prompt, go ahead and grab a quick screenshot, and I'll go back to this as well if you need to do that. But that's week 1. We're going to move forward into week 2. And I love this. You might want to think about just stilling yourself for a moment, taking a big old deep breath. Even maybe kind of close your eyes, and I'll read the prompt out loud so your mind can kind of start imagining where this prompt is taking you. So, in the deepest part of your heart, there is a door. Picture this door, old and worn, and it's been sealed shut by fear. Can you see it? Behind this door is something powerful, a truth, a dream, a hidden strength that you've kept locked away. What has held the key to this door all this time? Is it doubt? Is it pain? Is it the fear of the unknown? Are you protecting yourself in some way? Now, picture yourself standing before the door and the key is warm in your hand. I kind of think of it in a very enchanting way, like it's this magic key, bringing in last month's theme. Write about what would happen if you were to unlock it. What would emerge from behind that door? How does bravery step into the unknown even when the key turns and the door creaks open? So I'm going to put on a little bit of music. We are limited to our time this morning. So you may want to grab a screenshot of this question as well as you meander through it this week. And let's just kind of get going. Maybe jot the first things that come down. And of course, always share in the chat as you are comfortable. I know our time was short. This question could be like half of a journaling social, because it's so good. I when I imagine my door, it's like a big old creaky door and it's got a rounded top and it's got like a little window in it where the light is shining through. That's what I see when I think about my door. So as you navigate, you can keep working on this as we start our setup. I do have a little bit of extra time with our rosebud thorn reflection, so you can kind of finish up while we're working on that. But like, let this travel, carry that key with you throughout this week as you consider, what bravery looks like when you open that door and you move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and go into our rosebud thorn. Again, you might want to work on this while we work on our rosebud thorn reflection as well. Of course, the rosebud thorn reflection is a way that we embrace the gratitude for the previous week, even those thorns. What did we learn from them? Um, and so we'll just start. Our thorns are the stuff that was just like frustrating, not good. We didn't enjoy it. Maybe an area where we need some more support. What did last week bring you? We just had phone carrier issues and they were frustrating, and like we were on the road a couple of days and we couldn't get navigation, and it had to do with data safe modes and running out of data and trying to add a boost, and it was just frustrating. We were frustrating. It kind of shows just how much I rely on my phone, and I sometimes wish for the days of landlines, right? Where I wasn't so preoccupied with this thing. The buds, what are you looking forward to? I'm definitely excited about the fall and the change of seasons. And this graphic is actually from our Silk and Sonder Instagram account as well. And if you're not sure what your bud is, maybe it's one of these things that you're looking forward to. You could use this graphic to inspire your bud this week. And then finally, what went well last week? What are you proud of? What did you accomplish? What are you celebrating? And for us, we went to our family cabin and we had a really good week with a balance of some fun stuff, but also we got a lot of work done. Y'all know my husband had his knees replaced, and so we had let so many things go. And just really glad that we had a productive, fun week. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to put in a little extra long music here so you can kind of still work on that mind map question, as well as your reflections and gratitude for last week and what it brought you. And then we'll get on with the rest of our setup. Thanks for looking at this reflection and working on it and thinking about last week. Y'all have some thorns that aren't much fun. That huge jump in rent is awful. I'm so sorry. Kate said goodbye to a fur baby. That's always the worst. And that's, oh, those thorns are tough. And yet there's so much gratitude in the life of that little baby who loved you unconditionally. um, this is always a good reflection to just sit, give some power to those feelings that you had by writing them down and by taking a moment to reflect. And just hope, that your heart feels better over those thorns, y'all. I'm sorry. Gosh, life. So let's go ahead and get on with our new week. Let's set some things up for ourselves that will help us, kind of counter some of those tougher feelings. And well, your daughter's old dog. I'm sorry. That's your grand dog. I'm sorry. I have my grand dog with me right now. And oh my goodness, I keep thinking she's getting gray hair. I'm sorry. These fur babies. Oh, all right, y'all. Let's move forward with a little self-care in September. So September is Self-Care Awareness Month. And I had these two graphics with like 30 things on it. Some of them are repeated, but I wanted to share these with you because these could be some really good things to incorporate in your setup this morning, especially as we maybe go back and look at what we wanted to start, stop, and continue this month. Also, what intentions did you set for yourself? And so some of these could be really great ways to support perhaps some of those things or your goals this week. So while we're setting up, I'll go back through all the way back to this so you can grab those if you want. I'm actually going to be doing journal prompts this coming week. That social that's coming up, I think it's Wednesday. And I'm putting this into my gratitude log because that's going to be part of that social, the gratitude log. And I'm changing my gratitude log into a self-care because for gratitude for myself. And I'm writing 30 things in. And then as I do them, I will highlight them. So, anyway, so you'll see this again if you come Wednesday to that one. So I'll throw this back up while we're working on this first page, but we're going to start off with thinking about how we want to feel this week. And I've got this fun little fall graphic with some fun feeling words. If something like that is jumping out to you, perhaps you're going to embrace the theme of bravery and you want to feel brave this week. There's no right way or wrong way of deciding what you want to do. This week I'm landing on content. I just want to feel content and I want to pay attention to what I already have. And I'm going to be doing some decluttering and trying to focus on that kind of stuff. But you could do several words. Maybe there's a mantra and affirmation that's spoken to you. You can throw a sticker here, put a quote. Are you using your word of the year? Some of you are already dropping. Dinah says she needs to feel productive this week. So that's what she's going with. I love that. Here's a couple of examples. You can see how everybody sort of does it different. So you could do a feeling for each day of the week, like the one you see there. I also like kind of maybe changing this up to a sentence like this week, I want to be like a ray of sunshine for myself and others. And so kind of changed that up. We've got brave and present, refocused, creative, anchored. This week, I want to feel able to inspire my students. We also have it framed out as I need more something and less of something. So that's always a good one. Kate, content is a good one, right? I just thought I needed that this week, just to kind of settle down. Brave in a rock for your husband. Oh, he's having surgery. Okay, we send you good vibes, Suzanne. Thank you for sharing that. You will be brave. And remember, you've got your community here. So if you need a little extra shout out, go to Sonder Club and say, okay, it's surgery day. I need y'all's good thoughts. And we're there for you. Erotica's gonna be flirtatious. I love that. Just kind of lighten things up a little bit. Okay. So now thinking about that feeling for the week, we're gonna think, okay, what could our goals do to support that feeling? And so here's some ways to show up for yourself. Do what you say you'll do, value your own opinion, believe in the choices you've made, listen to that inner voice. We just kind of did a little bit of work on that with the mind map. Respect the time you have, right? Be respectful of that. Don't set yourself up for things that take 36 hours when you've only got 24 hours in a day. And then celebrate yourself, celebrate the progress you've made. Of course, I'm going to refer you back to what you set up for your intentions. Maybe look at your habit tracker. How's it going so far now that we've gotten a week under our belt? Do you need to adjust? Do you need to make your goals support those things? Of course, setting it up through the idea of bravery, maybe some no goals, boundaries. What do you need to stop doing? Anything outstanding from last week? I have kind of some stuff from last week that I'm bringing forward to really focus on myself. Perhaps a personal challenge. I know we talked, Maya did the setup on Sunday, and I was the behind the scenes gal for that one. And folks started talking about doing a personal challenge, like a soup challenge, now that we're kind of entering these cooler, the cooler season. And then, of course, the categories are a really good way to just plug a goal in. If you kind of hit those categories like mind, body, soul, left brain, right brain, no brain, maybe work, community, home, frog, fun and fruitful. And that frog is that one thing you don't want to do, but you're going to prioritize it. So lots of different ways to set your goals up. Now, here is a mind, body, soul uh, goal category. And I've paired it with this really great graphic from our Instagram account, which is from a slow down menu. This is the time of year where I think we're naturally leaning to a little bit of a slower pace and thinking things, the coziness and just almost that preparation for a wintering season. So perhaps one of these, you could do a mind, body, soul, and choose one of these things as your goal for each area. But I love that idea of slowing things down a little bit, being brave enough to say no to filling our dance card. So here are my major three goals this week. It's actually kind of four-ish. And Maya shared this Saturday night. This is a technique from like an elementary school classroom where you have mustard, ketchup, mayo, and pickle. And mustard is your must do. What do you have to get done this week? Ketchup is what's left undone that you want to finish up this week. Mayo is I may do it. It's almost like looking at that Eisenhower matrix. Like it's not priority, but I'm going to go ahead and put this here, give some power to it by writing it down. These are a couple of things I've wanted to look at for. I want to do the Texas Share library card, which allows me to check out books like in Dallas. That's a thing. And then I need to shop for some outdoor chairs, for those camp chairs, folding camp chairs, because it's soccer season. But it's not a priority. It can happen kind of anytime. So that's my mayo. And then my pickle is I'm gonna pick one fun thing, and I'm either gonna go to the bookstore, library, a museum, a coffee shop, or the park. So I'm gonna pick one. So I just thought that was kind of a fun way to, bring a little levity to my goals this week. So that's what you see there. That's mine. And then you can also repurpose this. Perhaps you just put a quote that's going to drive your week, or you make a bingo board and this person's going to unplug, and here's all the ways they're going to unplug this week. Or perhaps you do your list of routines so it's front and center. So It's really about what works for you, and notice that little daily routine. They've done a little, kind of a little tracker down at the bottom for the AM and the PM so they can check in with themselves. So then after we do those goals, we can take a look at those to-dos. What is on our list, for the week? Perhaps it's just this plain old to-do list, or perhaps they're directly tied with those goals. This is a great space to make a to-do list. I've got an example of that using the Eisenhower matrix, which I've got an example of that. The Pomodoro technique can be employed there, where you work 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break, put on another timer for 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. So, kind of working under that. And if you listen to the daily rituals, we had a whole daily ritual on kind of the adaptation of using the Pomodoro technique last week. So, you might want to go check out last week's go look at the daily ritual from last week on the Pomodoro technique. Perhaps you make a dread list, and just a list of all the things that you've been putting off that you're going to do. It's just you haven't wanted to do it, you're dreading it, you're just going to do it. Perhaps Perhaps there's some things you want to do. Of course, September self-care, and then maybe the highlights of things you don't want to forget this week. So there's that Eisenhower matrix that we always like to talk about at our socials, about putting your all the things to do, plugging it into this graphic to really help you prioritize. So that's always a good one. You can see someone is doing the things that they need to do and that they want to do, but they've also divided that to-do list there on the left into their work and their personal. You can make it fun by perhaps creating a bingo board for the week. So maybe you're tracking your weekly wins here. Perhaps there's a quote or a fun sticker to guide you. Um, have y'all seen this roller coaster one? This was like one of our facilitators shared the actual little graphic, and someone else actually drew it in their space for their to-dos, and I just love that one. It's kind of made the rounds, I think, in all of our slide decks because it's just fun. And then, of course, sometimes the best way to grow and be brave is to subtract, take it away. So here's, make a to not do list to check off what you didn't do. So maybe eliminating something like multitasking, or you're not sleeping enough and you're going to take care of that this week. Eating very, very late at night, or not exercising, or you're listening to that inner critic. So maybe there's some not to do's that need to go in this space. Perhaps you need to make a to be list if things are feeling very chaotic, or you're feeling kind of down. Perhaps you make a list of what you want to be, and gravitate to that. Put some power into those things by putting it down on paper. And then, of course, we love to DAWs, look what I did. So lots of different ways to set this up, and I'll go back through these while we work on this page. I'm going to do this whole page, and then we'll get it done. And then we're going to drop down to that bottom, the habit and activity tracker. And again, use those intentions that you set up for yourself to inform this space. And then your monthly habit tracker, that wheel that's on page 11, if something's not happening and you really want it to happen, maybe double dip and write it on your weekly as well, or write yourself a reminder on your weekly tracker to go look at the monthly tracker. And here's some great examples. You can see the one on the left is kind of gamifying. They're going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 with setting the number of goals for these things to happen. And then they're not tracking on the weekend. They are taking the weekend off. A little rest, little recovery there. The one below that on the left, you can see that the days of these things to happen have been circled. So that visual to remind, that Tuesday and Friday is my treadmill day. The days are circled Same thing for the upper right one. Those days are circled. I just kind of like the rainbow colors there. And then the one below that on the right, there are no goals set. It's just pure tracking through the week, the days that it happened, that got a little smiley face. And then they totaled that up after it was done, after those things were done. So it's about taking what you need. If you need to give yourself some days off, just, just mark through that day, and then here's some ideas for you to maybe consider adding to that habit tracker. So I'll put on some music while you work on this page one. I'm going to go back through all of the slides we just looked at. And then if there's anything that you do to change this up or to that's really worked for you, drop that in the chat because you're the expert and you'll help others, maybe inspire some others with this one. All right, good work on that first page. Now we're going to go to our second page of our setup, and we're going to start with looking at the meal plan. And of course, we love to repurpose this space because it's got all those really great spaces on there. But here are some examples of how folks used it actually with planning their meals or tracking their meals. You can see someone over there on the right. That's that macro tracker. You've seen this one before if you've been to one of my setups. But also, it's always good to have that plan. And oftentimes, I use this space for a leftover tracker, just so we can kind of keep track of when did we eat this, so it doesn't get bad in the fridge. So lots of ways to repurpose this space. If you repurpose your meal plan, drop in the chat. What do you put in there? What kind of, some folks will use this for appointments or maybe the socials, the daily affirmations. That's a big one because it's good space, right? Cheryl, there's room for our daily affirmations. Perhaps there's little mini journal reflections like the example you see there, like one good thing, or did I meditate? Did I slow down and enjoy the moment? So really focusing on mindfulness, or the idea of glad. What do I have gratitude for? What did I learn? What did I accomplish? And what delighted me this week or this day? But some folks will put their wordle there, or a word of the day with the definition, the national day of things, a garden tracker. So lots of schedules and appointments. Oh, your Jenny tip of the day. That's neat, Rodica, when you're working with your coach. The daily affirmations. What else? What else goes in here for y'all? Another Jenny affirmation. This is just such a good space for that. You can see someone else is going to be tracking exercise. One thing I love about myself today, I love that. Maybe we do, how was I brave today? There's a word of the day. Like, I don't know, this could be a morning kind of thought, like what is my, or maybe an evening reflection of that goes there. There's an example of the National Day of, where they've just put in all the national fun things to celebrate. Oh, I love that. Christina's going to try mindful practices. And speaking of being mindful, we love the mind body health plan. And this is an especially important space during our self-care September idea. So here's some self-care menu things that you can put in there, some fun, again, another great little graphic from our Instagram account. But, I think one of the things I'm going to do is definitely, I'm going to take some things off of this list, but one of the things is I'm putting up my fall decorations. We're pulling out the pumpkins this week. I need that. It makes my heart happy to do that. But this is a good place for routines. Maybe another bingo board. We love those. You can see, look at the one that's over on the left. So everything they've done, M for Monday, T for Tuesday, W for Wednesday, but then they've taken their self-care through using that letter. So Monday is meditation, will get you through this week. Tuesday is try to show yourself grace. Wednesday, W, water over alcohol. Thursday, try to be as active as you can. So some really good reminders there to set it up in a Monday through Sunday format. I thought that one was really fun. A cleaning list, always the one there in the bottom middle, I feel, and so I need, and that's a good check-in point at any time during the day. You can start your day with this. You can do a check-in midday. You could end your day with this. Maybe you do 3 I feels and I needs, and you do a morning, midday, and evening check-in with self. You can see the little fun bingo, the little self-care bingo there on the bottom left, some kitty cuddles and no social media, decorate for Halloween. And then the Mind Body Health Plan there's a little mini tracker there that's on the right, that example of kind of tracking each day and doing those things that are going to help you take care of mind body health. Here's two examples of embracing the 7 types of rest, and we talk a lot about the 7 types of rest in Silk and Sonder. And so here's two ways that folks have embraced it. Now in the meal plan, but this could go anywhere, right? All of this page is like so interchangeable. They are focusing on a different type of rest each day through the week. And so you can see how they're setting that up. But the one on the right is focusing on ways to embrace emotional rest. So perhaps that emotional rest, you find, oh, I really do need some rest in that area. It's not just the physical rest. I need some emotional rest. So you might want to focus like this person on the right did and list all these ways of meeting that need for emotional rest or creative rest. So you choose or maybe figure out which area of rest you need the most. So those are great examples. This is also, these graphics are great to inspire a little reflection in any of the spaces, the meal plan, the mind body health plan. Perhaps this goes in your shopping list. I always love the little mini self-esteem journal. I've done that one many, many times. It's just kind of that little daily reflection with a little prompt there. And then we have the shopping list. And I love the shopping list because it's a grid. And so either a tracker goes here for me, like my good night routine you see there on the upper right. That one was mine. When that rhythm and routine gets off, I end up dropping it in my weekly setup. But I mostly use this space for a bingo board. The little graph paper there makes it easy. And this week I actually have I should have made a copy of it, but mine is about like decluttering. And then I've got 20-minute sessions, 3 of them for my closet. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to, delete 50 emails. I've got inbox and I've got 3 sessions of deleting emails. So that's how I'm going to use it this week. The one in the bottom left there, it's just kind of a wardrobe tracker. What are you wearing this week? I used to kind of track my clothes when I worked every day because kids will notice, like, why are you wearing that again? So I would always make sure I was changing things up a little bit. And then, there's a bunch of bingos. If you have something fun this week, like a birthday or an anniversary, or you're celebrating someone in your life, this is a fun way to frame out this space. Create just a little bingo with lots of ways to celebrate. So we've got the shopping list is going to be your packing list. Yes, Jillian, it's such a good place. You write it down. It commits to the brain. A chore list, maybe look at the little guy with the little sticker of the dachshund there, and it's the Wordle wins, and they're just tracking when they get those words for the week. And then the last space on this page is the I am loving box. And because it is self-care awareness September, I'm going to encourage you to maybe change this up a little bit and consider writing it out as I am loving blank about myself, and really lean into the idea of giving yourself some little, tender loving care. Think about what you love about yourself, what you're most proud of. Reflect on the things that make you feel confident and brave. And then take notes of the moments that maybe you stretched and challenged yourself this week. So I'm going to be sharing this one every week, every setup this month, because I think that's an important way to embrace that self-care. So let me put on some music while we work on this page. I'll go back through these slides and then let us know if you are changing things up. You've already dropped some ideas in the chat, and then we'll come back and finish up. I hope that you feel so proud of yourself for showing up today and getting your week set up. We would love to see your setup or part of your setup in Sonder Club. And so share that weekly planner. And then this Wednesday at 7, I'm doing the gratitude log and facing fears boldly social event, and so excited about that one. That one's gonna be a little we've got a good mix. The opening activity is a wonderful way to kinda get ourselves ready to face those fears boldly. So I hope to see you again this week. Another shout out to the exclusive that's coming up again. You can still take that Truity quiz to find out your disc type for free. And then there's a nominal fee for the exclusive, but highly recommend that. Of course, a shout out to Jenny and our personal coaching. So you can find out more about that either by emailing concierge at silkandsonder.com or just going to the website and finding that out if you're not using Jenny. And then there's our playlist for the day. And I'm just really, really proud of y'all for showing up. And I hope I see you Wednesday. Make it a fabulous, fabulous week.